So, welcome to the UpLevel Podcast, Bill Lau. How are you
Happy to
today?
be here. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Well, I'm really excited that you said yes to this invitation. And we met through a course training at Google, and you were supporting us with the technology. You're an internal coach at Google, amongst many other things, which people have just heard in your bio. But I started following you on LinkedIn after that and stalking you a little bit, I guess, and just really, really impressed with your writing, your videos, more importantly, your messages, what you're saying, and the sincerity of it, and also the impact, the positive impact I know it's been having on me, and I'm sure many others. And I thought you'd be a great guest in this season of leading through crisis, chaos, and change, because I see you as a leader, as a human who is navigating these times with a lot of confidence, with a lot of grit, with a lot of humility, with a lot of kindness, with a lot of openness. And so that's why I wanted you here today, Bill.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the comments, and I've been looking forward to this conversation. And I'm sure that I'll have a lot to learn here, and a
Oh,
lot to share with you too.
yeah, we're going to have a lot to learn from you. And let's just dive right in with this question. When you look at what's happening on planet Earth in this moment in time, how would you describe it? What's happening from your perspective?
Yeah. Um, yeah. When we look at the world today, I think the two words that come to mind are dramatic and overwhelming. So I would say dramatically overwhelming.
Yeah.
I feel like we live in a time. There were moments where I, just question: Is the world has the world been always like this? And it's just we live in a time when we experience it this way, the way that we feel right now. So yeah, it's just a lot is happening, and it feels so much more dramatic than I said, let's say 10 years ago, or even further. So yeah, that's what really I would say about it.
It's a dramatic, overwhelming time. And like,
Yeah,
have you given it any thought as to like why? Why is this the current state of the world?
yeah, that's a good question, and I think it's the technology that actually makes this world smaller, so much smaller than before. It's such a big world, but the transportation, communication, internet, social media, and now you get to experience something that is happening on the other side of the planet, like instantly. I bet every second you can find a video stream that is live streaming something happening like on the other side of the planet, right? But this didn't exist, say, 10 years ago, I
Right.
guess, right?
Yeah.
So, so how we receive information, how we get these updates, get in touch with each other is very different today. And it happens much, much quicker. And I think that is how I understand that we're living in this world that information is overwhelmingly explosive. Um,
What
yeah,
a what a wise observation. And I mean, it's appropriate given like a lot of your time thus far in the world, you've spent it in technology. Like you're a technical solutions consultant.
yeah,
And so it's interesting to hear that lens. And I feel like you're absolutely right. And then your words of overwhelmingly dramatic or dramatically overwhelming makes perfect sense when I'm going to combine some like embodiment and somatics.
yeah,
Our bodies and our nervous systems can't keep up to the rate of the technology and the rate of the information that we're receiving. It's like the hard drive needs a major upgrade to be able to not feel overwhelmingly dramatic about
yeah,
what's happening.
yeah, exactly. So right in what you say. And think about it now, how much time you actually have to spend on getting these updates and processing information and picking out the most important things that matters to you.
Yeah,
It's so difficult today.
it is. How do you go about that?
Hmm. Well, I think it comes down to like really practice to focus on myself. I think there were a really long time in my life that I didn't feel that I need to have an opinion, that I can have my own voice or even should have my own voice. And I felt it's okay to just follow, to be in the crowd, right? To see what other people are doing and then just do what they do, be normal, be, I come from an Asia culture, and here the education is basically telling us you should follow the authority, you should be like others, you should get into the society and be part of it. You don't want to be sticking out, but like with all this information, if there's no reflection on what I really care about, it would be really difficult for you to pick out this important part that you really want to process and you really want to receive. So yeah, I think practice asking yourself what do you want, who are you, what's the thing you care
Mm.
about. I think all this help. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm,
And that's definitely what I've observed in you. And again, why I wanted you to come and talk to us because,
mm,
yeah, you seem to be a very reflective person and you ask these very deep questions. And I know your coaching mindset and training has supported you in that, but I make up too that you kind of are like that. You were like that before. You're a reflective, deep human. And actually, what you just said about this process you've been going under of really getting clear on who are you, not who were you conditioned to be culturally,
mm,
societally, but who is Bill. And one of your posts around visibility really struck me because of the times we're living through, and for folks leading through crisis, chaos, on change. I'd love for you if you would be willing to read this post because I know it gave me another perspective on being visible in these times. Would you share that?
sure.
Great.
Let me put it up. So LinkedIn tells me to be more visible. I hate that. I have been told enough at work to make myself visible. I have been encouraged to ask questions at town halls. I have been invited to speak up more in team meetings. I have been given the opportunity to present slides to senior leaders. I have been given the strategy to get my promotion built tightly around attention, influence, visibility, and storytelling. Oh, you go to director's office hour, make sure she knows what you're doing. You drive this large scope project, make sure you get cross-functional endorsements. You send a weekly inside newsletter, leave impressions to our leaders. You host that org-wide event, let other people recognize you. In the end, we did all this just to be forgotten. But do you remember there's a depth dimension of visibility that is called being understood, that is called empathy, that is called compassion, that is called human connection. I want to be visible only where I matter.
Mic drop. Yeah. Whew.
Whew.
Yeah. So what's coming up for you as you read back these powerful words you wrote?
Yeah, I I still remember when I wrote that post. It was like really in the morning. I opened LinkedIn and I saw that I think there was a new feature that LinkedIn was guiding creators to have more interaction with people, and it's saying like, we're trying to help you get more visibility. And I remember the reaction that happened inside me at that moment. I was like, God, I've been told enough at work to get visibility, and that's when all those scenarios, memory of like what happened at work before just came to mind, and then I just realized why am I so resistant or have a reaction to this invitation to visibility, and that's what got me thinking. And yeah, and then that's when I realized, yeah, it's not that I don't want visibility. Why do I post on LinkedIn? Like, why do we get on social media? Why do I put our message out there? We want to be seen. Like everyone wants to be seen. Think about my clients. Think about like your clients. Everyone, like, you want to be understood. So, but I think a lot of times we forgot that we're looking for visibility, but from who? So I think that was really got me into writing this post. The moment, yeah.
It's a super inspiring perspective. And I think for the folks who I've had clients that have echoed what you share here, and friends and colleagues. And I think it's a very much part of like Western culture, dominant culture, this whole extroversion, be out, be seen. I don't know if you're familiar with a body of work called human design. I talk about it a lot in the podcast, but I'm a manifestor generator. It's very natural for me to kind of be out. My business partner is a projector and she's much more inward. And it's one of the reasons why our relationship actually works really well, because we have different skills or different orientations, I would say, to the world. And I think what's really important about leading through these times, and again, remember our definition of leadership is that everyone's a leader. So whether it's at your home, in your community, in the workplace, with your family, it's recognizing that we all have different ways of being visible, of showing up,
Yes.
of influencing. Like somebody might do it in a meeting, but someone else might book like a private conversation with the person, and that's their more innate, natural way of doing that, versus us like across the board saying, this is how you influence, this is how you be visible, and then having performance metrics created around that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of
Yeah,
that?
so true. Because especially when talking about social media, I think about when we get on social media, there part of me actually feel really scared getting on social media. And I'm an introvert person. Like I said, I come from Asian culture where I really feel that I shouldn't stand out. I shouldn't just put myself out there. But when I really try to do that, it's very scary. And think about it. Why is it scary? Because you want to be seen by those people who understand you. But on social media, this becomes like the visibility becomes a metric, becomes a number, like how many views you get, how many followers you get. Then, like when so many people are looking at your content, who really understand you, and there could be like comments that you don't like. There could be people making comments that about you, indicating that maybe they don't understand you. Maybe that's maybe they're not the right audience for you, but your message is being heard there.
Mhm.
That itself is scary. I think that part is the scary part for me. When I say what I say, when I be myself there, would people understand? Would people judge me?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's what came to mind
Mhm.
when yeah.
What do you think is important in this moment in time? that
Mm.
we're navigating as humans, this overwhelming dramatic time.
Yeah.
What's important? What has been important for you to overcome that fear? Because I see you
Mm.
putting yourself out there.
Yeah. I think I would come back to the point of understanding myself, um, understanding who I am, and understanding what my message to the world is.
Mm-hmm.
That gave me the courage to put myself out there. I think I would say this is also important for navigating the three C words that you use. Crisis, chaos, change. Because think about it. Like I imagine myself as a tree, like in the nature, and when there are a lot happening in the surrounding, maybe like strong wind, heavy rain, you feel, oh, maybe earthquake. Like a lot is happening. It could be chaotic. It could be crisis. A lot of changes happen around you, but you want to be grounded there, right? You want to be the thing that doesn't move when everything else is moving. You want to be solid. You want to be just grounded there. And what can hold you in steadily there is who you are. Is what's inside you. You you can you can, but what you should really understand is that nothing else but what's inside you holds you steadily there.
Mm.
And what it means who you are, the values you honor, the things you care about, the things you like, the things you don't like. Understanding yourself, I think that's the foundation. That's the key to hold you in place, um, in order to be in this world of chaos, crisis, changes.
And so, for folks who are listening who might be newer to that type of exploration or reflection, where would you point them so that they can get that inner grounding? You're describing it so beautifully, of like knowing who they are, what they stand for, what's important to them. Where would you point them to uncover that?
Uh, I think one is definitely what we are doing. Coaching is a great way to discover yourself. And I would also say meditation is another practice that guide us to look inside and look at ourselves. Um, yeah, and I think even as simple as just asking yourself the question, keep asking yourself the question, like, who am I? What do I like? What do I not like? One thing I really love doing is that I walk my dog every morning and evening. And when I walk my dog, I love just asking myself these questions, maybe like variations of the same question, but basically asking, how do I feel about this moment?
Mm.
What do I like about right now? What do I not like? What do I care today? So just keep asking yourself. You will find the answer. You experience life and you would find the answer. Well,
So
that's what I would say.
powerful. It's so powerful. How'd you get so cool, Bill? How'd you get so cool? Like,
Well,
tell me a little bit about like where you came from and your upbringing. I'm so curious about who you are.
yeah. I'm from China. I grew up in China. I finished my education in China. And I got into Google about 10 years ago. And in Shanghai for 2 years, and then I relocated here to Tokyo. So I've been living in the Asia culture. I call it CJK, and my major in university is Korean, the language.
Oh wow.
Um, so we call this a CJK circle. So China, Japan, Korea, the North East Asia circle, and I would say I live in this culture for my whole life. Um, yeah. And yeah, here I am today. And I'm because I major in Korea and I really have a lot of passion in learning technologies. So I really figured my way into the IT industry. Getting into Google was, one of the things that I'm really proud of myself.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and been having the honor to serve in this technical role in the company for more than 10 years now. And um, yeah, and got into coaching in the recent 2, 3 years. And I really love it. And I think really coaching is the thing that shaped me today. Um, you say how do I get so cool? I don't I don't think I'm so cool, but I think coaching is really what helps me understand myself, and starting asking myself those questions.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't really used to do that. Say 5 years ago. Um, yeah, but I'm doing it
So
a lot now.
yeah, and so beautifully and so visibly, right? And what you're sharing on LinkedIn. What's it been like as you've gone deeper into this process
Mm-hmm.
yourself? How has it shifted your relationships, or how have the people around you responded? And what's happened from that perspective?
Hmm, that's an interesting question because I think people around me, I actually got into coaching because people around me came to me and tell me, "Hey, I just learned about this coaching thing, and I think you'll be a great coach." And I was like, "What? I don't even know what that means." So after learning coaching, I do feel that one, I'm able to make connections much more deeply with people around me, and people saw, people experience what I could do, and with the power of coaching, and they're much more open to me and less like a friend sometimes, but more coming to me and just talk about the things that happening in their life in a way that maybe like a client and coach would do. And I feel that that just helped me make so much more deeper connection with people around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is another remedy, I believe, for leading through crisis, chaos, and change, which is
Yeah.
deeper connection with those around us, more intimacy, and I mean that in
Yeah.
like just being able to hold space, listen to people is what I hear you provide. And that does create deeper connection for these times so that one isn't feeling lonely, isolated, or even though there's a dramatic overwhelm, they can find, like you said, their roots. They can find their center because they have these connections. So,
Yeah.
what's it been like in CKJ? So
Yeah.
in Asia during
Yeah.
the past 4.5 years, like if
Yeah.
you're broadcasting to a lot of folks listening from the West, what do you want us to know about what it's been like the past 4.5 years in your part of the world?
Hmm. It's been, I would say, one, it's been challenging. I come from China, and when the pandemic just happened, I was just landing in China, and starting from there, everything just became so dramatic. And here, I think because of the culture, well, I actually, one thing you just say really hit me was, people feeling alone, people feeling lonely. Um, but people don't know where to find someone who can understand them. That's how I feel when I started doing coaching. So especially in the past few years when all this overwhelming like events, news are happening everywhere. I think there's a lot in people's mind that they want to express, they want to talk to someone about, that they
Yeah.
feel, they have their own situations and they want to find someone to talk about. But I think because of the culture, we don't really tend to do that a lot, and we're not really used to do um, this type of expression, and we don't know where to do it. Um, so I feel really uh, pleasure that like inside Google, I had this chance to serve my clients, and that helped me understand so much about what's happening. I mean, just getting a sense from what my clients were talking to me about, and just realize that people are feeling lonely, and
Yeah.
they just want someone to help them to feel that they're not alone in this world, in this challenging world, in this chaotic world.
During the times we're living through, right? And
Yeah,
um, has there been a particular person
yeah,
for you? I mean, not necessarily over the past 4.5 years, but it could be, but a person that really sticks out when you think of leader, that really has supported you. And if you could, you don't need to share, who they are unless you want to, but I'd love to hear what are some of the qualities that this person really exhibited and how did they support you during, challenging times?
yeah. I think there are many people I look up to, especially in my journey learning coaching. A lot of excellent coaches, and when you ask that question, who comes to mind is really one of the leaders that I encounter in one of our course at CTI. Um, he's he's a really cool guy, and I think what he exhibited was one, being true to himself, and he's doing similar thing in like in terms of like coaching and also posting on social media, but from his message, I can sense the spirit of being in the moment and being resilient, being in the flow,
Mm.
and being able to, let me see how to put it. It's like flowing.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's like remove all the attachment and being just dancing with everything that is around you.
Yeah.
I think that is really something I admire, and I've been trying to practice that,
Yeah.
to also live like that. But yeah, I think that's really the quality that
Yeah.
a great leader in this time wants to have.
Yeah. So presence, being resilient, being in the flow. So being flexible, being agile, being able to dance with what is here, create from what is here,
Yes.
right? Not being rigid, but actually like expanding and like allowing. So that's some good wisdom. I mean, I so align with that, and um, it's so
Yeah.
cool, right? To have models of these qualities that one is growing in themselves, right? So we can see it in
Yeah.
real time and we can practice it. So thank you for sharing that. There's
Thank you.
another one of your posts that I just wanted to make mention here, and I think
Yeah.
it kind of aligns with what you're saying, and it's talking about visionary leaders. And you said, I used to think visionary leaders are ones who see really far. They tell us where the world is heading, they predict the future. But wait, they can't really predict the future, can they? Did they make a guess? what happened to be right? Nah, they didn't guess, they believed. Being visionary, they dare to dream. Being leaders, they dare to pursue. They don't predict the future, they dream the future and they create it. Bill
Yeah.
out.
Wow,
Yeah.
I thank you for reading that out. I love listening to you read it. Wow, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's powerful. I read it. I was like, dang, Bill, dropping the mic everywhere, dropping the pen.
Uh,
And I think this is so important. I think it's aligned to the message around being visible. I think you're really helping me understand, and I hope our listeners understand. Like, there's a different way to look at leading through these times. It doesn't have to be the way that we were conditioned, or that we see maybe in movies. It really, what I hear you, where you're pointing us is, let it be true to you. Let it be authentic to you and create some space within yourself, within your day, some practices to help you understand what is your authentic voice and way of visioning and being visible.
yeah, I think exactly that. You sum it so well that I probably couldn't. Um, I think being a leader, it's so important to understand what our message to the world is, and I think that is the future that you want to create. That is what you are here to do in this world. That what do you want to see happen in this world? And when you have that vision and just work towards it, you are a leader. You don't need to. I mean, you don't need to have people in your team to do that. You just be in this world and make the things that you want to see happen. And that itself, it makes you a leader. Yeah.
Bill, what is your prayer, your message, to use your language, in this moment for humanity? What do you want to say?
I really hope that there's more understanding, empathy, and being together in this world. Um, I think, like I say, what I observe is that people feeling lonely. We want to be heard. We want to be understood. And I really wish that this world has more understanding, more of that, more understanding, more being together with each other, more open heart to connect with each others, to just just be in this time together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for this unique wisdom that you've brought us today. And if people want to connect with you and see some of your videos, your writing, work with you, how can they find you? We'll put things in the show notes, but you tell us how they can find you, please.
Yeah. People can find me on LinkedIn. I look forward to knowing you and listening to your stories and making connection with you. So reach out on LinkedIn if my post resonates with you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill. It's been such a pleasure. You're a true gem, and I'm grateful to be in your orbit as we navigate these wild and dramatic and overwhelming and also like super incredible times.
Yeah, thank you, Christy. I really enjoy our conversation and I appreciate what you're doing right now and making this world really better place.
Mm. Thank you, Bill.